What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host and friendly neighborhood voice actor, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/TalesFromTheCustomer. This story's called, I Had to Play the Part of a Karen to Get My Dryer. A few weeks ago, I had to play the part of a Karen. Background info. We are a military family living on base. We have 2 potty training little boys. This is also written directly from my notes that I took throughout the situation, so excuse any grammar or weird sentences. Teal deer at the end, this is going to be super frickin' long. So after many years of abuse, my dryer broke on a Saturday. After my husband looked over it with the help of my father-in-law on FaceTime, who has been a maintenance man for 40 years, we placed an order online for a Maytag washer and dryer set from the Blue Home Improvement store to be delivered on Monday. A good set. $1,400 for the pair. Good chunk of change to throw down for a young couple with 2 small children, both potty training. We put in the instructions on the online order that we live on base. In order for anyone to get on base without a military ID, you have to be able to pass a background check. No felonies and even some misdemeanors will prevent you from getting on base. Monday morning, bright and early, my husband got a call saying they only had the dryer in stock, but that can be delivered now. The washer wouldn't be in stock until Wednesday. We said that was fine since it was the dryer that was broken anyway. Immediately after those words left my husband's mouth, she said, "Oh, never mind. We don't have a delivery driver who can access space until Wednesday anyway, so we'll just deliver the whole set on Wednesday." We were annoyed, but whatever. So we waited until Wednesday. They gave us a call that morning and told us the washer still wasn't in, but they can go ahead and deliver the dryer. We put our old dryer outside and got everything cleaned up to get ready for it. Then the truck pulled up and they told us that it was actually the washer, not the dryer, even though the dryer is the one they said was in stock. They were still waiting on the dryer to be picked up from another store and won't be delivered until Friday. Friday rolls around and I call the store. They still don't have the dryer from the other store. I call the store and the manager tells me they will have us set aside as the first delivery tomorrow, which should be at 7. 9 o'clock rolls around and I call the store again. I call several times trying to get a manager through customer service. Managers just don't answer their phones. After the 3rd or 4th try, I finally get in contact with a manager who tells me the truck just pulled in and we would be on the 9:30 to 11 delivery time slot. At this point, we have been without a dryer, I'm assuming, for 5 days. May I mention again, potty training toddlers? The only laundry I have been able to do is at my neighbor's house. We have little to no clean clothes. And we were heading out the next week to visit my mom's house, 16 hours away. I need to pack. I call back at 11:15 because the dryer still isn't here. They now tell me it will be delivered at the latest 3. Again, 3:30 rolls around and still no dryer. I call back to the store. I call 9 times in that hour because customer service keeps hanging up on me. And if I do get through to customer service to ask for a manager, no manager picks up the phone. The 6th time I call, I finally get a manager and ask her what the f is going on. She puts me on hold for 25 minutes and forgets about me. I call an additional 3 times. The manager calls my husband's phone, and because he's getting ready for his night shift at work, he misses the call. She leaves a message saying the delivery driver couldn't get on base and is bringing our dryer back to the store. They're way too busy with their deliveries tomorrow, so it won't be delivered until Monday. I try calling back, but I don't get anyone. Customer service isn't picking up their phones. So I call corporate and get someone right away. He tries to get in contact with a manager. He tries for 20 minutes to get in contact with them, and even he can't. I ask him to forward me to his supervisor so I can place a formal complaint with the store. The supervisor tells me that they have 24 hours to reach out to me before I can escalate my complaint further. I can't wait that long since I, my kids, and my husband are all in dirty clothes. My husband, who works in a high-profile professional environment, like suits and ties to work every day, had to go to work in dirty clothes. It's a huge deal because he can literally get written up for having dirty clothes. So I call the store the next morning. I get in touch with the manager. I let her have it. I tell her she needs to find a delivery driver without felonies, even if she has to call someone into work to get it delivered today. That it was unacceptable that I was in this predicament and she needed to fix it. She says she will do what she can and hangs up. She calls me back 10 minutes later. The delivery company has no one, literally no one, who can deliver my dryer today, and there's nothing she can do except give me $60 back on each unit, and that she would guarantee it would be first delivered Monday morning, which is about 8. I told her that if it's not here by 11, it was an 8 to 11 delivery window, I will be calling back and escalating my complaint with corporate. The store manager called me Sunday night and told me it would be first delivered Monday morning. You might think this was the end of it and I got my dryer and lived happily ever after, but it's not. The next day, Monday, 9 days since my dryer broke, dryer still hasn't arrived. I called corporate back. She tried to get in contact with the store again, but they either got disconnected or hung up on corporate. I wouldn't be surprised either way with their track record. My husband called the delivery company and they told him they would have the driver call him. Corporate told me that they would hunt someone down to get my dryer. The store called me back and told me the truck is just pulling in now at 11 o'clock and we would be the first delivered. At this point, I felt my inner Karen come out and I literally yelled at her that it was supposed to be delivered at 8 and it was just now being loaded up. Then I stopped myself and asked her for her supervisor to put in another formal complaint. She said that she could take a complaint for me, and I told her that I would rather complain to a supervisor because I am going to yell and I would be happier yelling at someone in charge because she doesn't deserve that. I got a supervisor and angry screamed, cried at her over the phone about the way that we were treated and how long it was taking to get our dryer. I must have yelled for 20 minutes detailing everything that happened since we ordered. I even played the military card and told her that I felt that we were getting treated this way because we lived on a military base. She told me that their company was doing a public service by employing those who might not ordinarily be able to get jobs. I said I understand that people with felonies need jobs and it's good for them to give them, but they also need drivers on staff who can access base because it took a whole week to get my $700 dryer delivered. She then told me that she would take an additional 10% off of the total cost. I told her I don't care about that. I just want to do my laundry. My dryer didn't get delivered until 3 p.m. I had 2 days to wash all of the clothes in my house before we left for my mom's house. But hey, I got that $140 off my total cost. This comes just a month or so after our experience with the Orange home improvement store, who, guess what, also couldn't access base. Edit. A few people who have asked why I didn't go to a laundromat. Several reasons. 1. The laundromat on base closed months ago. 2. The closest off-post laundromat is about 30 minutes away, in which I would have had taken both of my high-energy potty training toddlers to and sat there for several hours while we did our laundry. 3. They kept telling us it would be delivered, and I stupidly trusted that it would be. Also, base has rules against clotheslines outdoors. We have no space in our tiny duplex to hang clothes up inside. Plus, 2 large shedding dogs that would leave their hairballs on anything that was out, and 2 toddlers that will pull on anything. Our house is literally tiny, and I did mention in my story that I was able to do a few loads at my neighbor's house, but I had to prioritize specific clothes so they didn't sit with pee in them because my toddlers had accidents in them. Well, okay, I can understand the dogs and everything, but honestly, you could have washed a few clothes at a time and just hung them up in the bathroom or something. That way it's, away from everything. Because, you hang your towel up to dry. But anyway, I do sympathize with you that is ridiculous. But again, if you did find yourself in need, or your husband in need of clean work clothes, you could have done that at least. But what do I know? I wasn't there. Alright, this story's called, I Didn't Take Your Damn Gloves! It was Christmas 2019, and instead of ordering presents online, which I had for most of my gifts already, I decided to go window shopping for the few people I hadn't shopped for yet. Where I live, we have this little town road where there are a ton of locally owned small shops. Clothing stores, tourist shops, pet stores, boutiques, bakeries, etc. They would always decorate the street with lights, and all the shops would put on their own displays. So even if you aren't buying anything, it's still fun to walk around and enjoy the sights. You could say I looked forward to spending my money on overpriced goods. Same. I started my window shopping on one end of the street and worked my way down the road, shop to shop. By the near end of it, I had this big paper bag that was carrying things I had bought from other stores. The last shop I had yet to visit was this outdoorsy place that sold all kinds of outdoor wear, merch, and gear, which was perfect because the last person I needed to shop for was my father, who works on farms and operates machinery. This store I was saving for last specifically because it was one of my favorites. It had this rustic, warm vibe to it, and their clothing and gear was very well made, not to mention expensive. I had gotten myself a very versatile and flattering jacket a while back that I wear nearly every day, and later I had planned to get a pair of their cool hiking shoes since my old pair were getting worn. So I thought I would take a look around to see if I could find anything that might help with my father working out in the cold, and maybe a little something for myself if I could afford it. Now, usually they would only have 2 younger people on staff, but since it was the holidays, there were 4 employees, 2 of which I've never seen before. An older woman and a tall man wearing red. Usually the staff were very nice and accommodating and were just the right amount of helpful but distant, but not this time. As soon as I walked in, the man in red greeted me loudly. I gave him an awkward smile and proceeded to leisurely look around, trying to mind my own business. For some reason, this guy was watching me shop, even when there were 5 other customers wandering around. I was thinking, great, he's one of those. I had wandered my way to the glove section, trying to ignore Man in Red's stare, when he approached me as I was looking curiously at the heavy-duty gloves display. Is there something I can help you with? Yeah, I guess. My dad works outside with machinery on a farm, and I was thinking of getting him some good work gloves. Which one of these would you recommend? Man in Red proceeded to explain all the different types of gloves and what they're typically used for, and I settled on one of them he had handed me. A really nice, heavy-duty thermo glove pair that was waterproof. I thanked him and proceeded to continue looking around, with the gloves in hand, being sure to keep the gloves in my hands away from my giant paper bag I was also carrying. At this moment, Man in Red wasn't watching me like a hawk. Maybe I just had to throw him a bone to leave me alone. After a few minutes, I looked at the price tag for these gloves. A whopping $120. No way was I spending that much money on a pair of gloves for my dad that he might use. Heck, I can knit him something for free. So I put the overpriced gloves back in their spot and went back to the women's clothing section to see their deals on t-shirts. Man in Red is staring at me again. I just tried to ignore it and kept looking at shirts. This went on for about 5 to 10 minutes, with him staring at me and following me around as I shopped. The other customers had already left by now, and I think I was the only one in there at this point. I was very uncomfortable now, and I just wanted to leave. I didn't find anything I wanted, and I was getting hungry. When I turned around to go towards the only exit, he was literally blocking it, standing right in front of the narrow door. Now, I am an ethnic young lady living in a very privileged white town on an island. So maybe he was singling me out because of that and the fact that I was carrying a big paper bag. Reluctantly, I walked towards him and the exit and said a very polite, "Excuse me, didn't you want to get your dad those gloves?" Well, I decided not to, since I'm unsure if he would actually use them, and they were pricey. You seemed pretty confident in getting them. Okay, but I put them back, so can you please let me through? At this point, I was getting annoyed. I just don't know if you might have slipped them in your bag to try and save you money. Gretchen didn't see you put it back." "Oh, hell no!" "Excuse me, sir? Are you accusing me of stealing?" I opened my large bag to flash the contents. No gloves to be seen. "As you can see, I didn't take your damn gloves, and I didn't appreciate you hovering over me this whole frickin' time. You can go ahead and tell Gretchen that she just lost a loyal customer. Happy frickin' holidays, butthole." I pushed past him and stormed out of the shop. It's a damn shame. I really did like that store. Racial profiling is not a good business decision. Alright, this story's called My Great Experience with the Help Desk. This happened before the reopenings of the 4 theme parks and hotels of the popular Orlando resort. I had called the resort's 800 number to try and see about transferring my resort reservation to another hotel from the one I originally chose. The help rep, I'll call her Judy, answered, and I explained my situation, even asking about transferring my full resort hotel reservation to one of them that was close to the new gondola transportation. We spoke, and then she placed me on hold to take care of my request. While on hold, I enjoyed the music and the pre-recorded messages until Judy came back on and informed me that my request had been taken care of, and that I wouldn't need to pay any difference in price since I paid in full when I reserved my vacation around September-October of 2019. I was so glad for her help and thanked her a few times before hanging up. Wow, it's nice to see stories of positive things involving customer service and junk like that. Which is uncommon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.